Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here, Golden Opportunities Coaching. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here. We give emotional and psychological concepts a spin that make them more relatable and understandable. Today, we're going to talk about body signs of stress. In other words, what does your body do when it's about to give out? What does your body do when it's overstressed? Man, I wish I'd listened to some of these symbols before I spent 15 months in a nursing facility. Man, I'd love to have that time in my life back, but I learned a lot while I was there. Learned that I never want to go back there, and learned that we need to take more things seriously in terms of living for the moment. So, overall, it was a good experience, even though it came with bad circumstances. Anyway, if you are overstressed, your fight or flight syndrome nature will be activated. What is fight or flight syndrome? It's the knee-jerk reaction, which is almost instinctual, actually is instinctual for most people, that says, I've either got to fight this, I've got to stand up and defend myself, or I've got to get the heck out of here. Fight or flight syndrome is one way to know that you're too stressed. If you feel like you have to take action immediately, you're in some form of fight or flight syndrome. Your brain has kind of gone into that reactive space rather than that logical space. And if you find you're there are ways you can calm yourself down using a stress ball, sometimes focusing visually or texturally on something in the room. If you're trying to ground yourself, bring yourself back into the moment. But usually by the time that you've entered that space, your ability to logically think, not exactly the greatest, right? So that's one thing to consider. Another thing to consider is the average person that's overstressed, you're going to have stomach issues. Digestive issues have to do with acids and pH balance. Think of your digestive tract kind of like a pool. And if you get in a pool with too much chlorine, your skin's going to dry out. If you get in a pool with too little chlorine, there's going to be bacteria and all sorts of other stuff you don't want. And stress has the same effect on your stomach. It can make you feel nauseous. It can give you, issues where you need to use the restroom a lot. It can give you physical pain. It can give you just a sense of bloatedness or unrest or heaviness in your stomach. It can affect your appetite. So either you become excessively hungry or you don't want to eat at all. Usually that comes with the nausea. It can make you crave certain things. So that's the mental side of the physical part. So you're going to say, I'm only going to feel better if I eat that chocolate cake over there. That's where a lot of emotional eating or eating that's related to stress comes from, is the misnomer that the body gives off that I'll feel better if I eat this thing. That's where the concept of comfort food actually comes from, because it will release, eating certain foods for certain people will release specific chemicals in their brain and levels of dopamine and serotonin and all those good chemicals that ultimately can make a person's mood shift. So that's, if you find that your stomach's giving you issues either physically or just out of bounds cravings, real sudden cravings, not southern cravings, although people might have cravings for southern foods from time to time when they're stressed out. But real sudden cravings, that's issue there as well. If you notice that what you're consuming is changing, or the quantity on both sides, so quantity meaning if you're overeating, like you're just gorging and you're binge eating and you're going crazy, that means your stress level's too high. Stress, in simplest form, is an emotional reaction to a stimulus that you don't feel you have a solution for, or that you fear the outcome of. So it's two things. Number one, if I can't find a solution, I'm going to be stressed because my brain is going into kind of caveman, cavewoman days and thinking that I'm supposed to have a solution, and therefore I'm failing because I don't have a solution, which is only going to further the stress response. Or it's the I don't know what the solutions could be or the outcome could be, and so that creates stress in and of itself because the unknown is the stressor in itself. This can cause food-related challenges, either overeating, binge eating, eating past the point of fullness. Now, this is really difficult for people and there are a group of people, I know because I happen to be one, who don't have the chemicals that tell us when we're full. If you are a person that doesn't have the secretion of that chemical, or it secretes in very low amounts, this can be a real problem if you're stressed and food eating, or if you're under eating because you don't feel you've earned the right to eat, or you literally feel physically sick, so you're not eating. That can be a sign of stress or over stress as well. Um, tension. Tension in the body can come in the form of many different pressures. Pressures such as joint pain. There's research, and one can look it up online if they're more interested. But there's research that says things like fibromyalgia, rheumatism, um, um, muscular pulls and tears, um, things where parts of the body feel heavy or feel tight, tension like muscle cramping, spasms, Charlie horses, and the like, all do have at least a partial. Now, some people debate whether that's 5% or 25%, but a partial contributor to stress. That when the body is going through emotional stress, it sends signals through the neurotransmitters to create physical tension within the body, to put the body into a ready state to to fight or fly. And so that the physical outcome of that is tension, muscular aches, muscular pains, and some of the things we've just mentioned on a consistent basis. Now, the other one and the last one is blood pressure issues. Blood pressure issues can cause a lot of different physical symptoms, including altered heart rate, arrhythmia, which is an irregular heartbeat. It can cause high blood pressure, which can cause flushing. It can cause blood pressure alteration, where it's high and low and high and low, which is actually one of the main key symptoms for optical nerve constriction and blood vessel constriction that causes migraines, both visual and just pain sensor migraines. It can worsen the symptoms of vertigo, which is a balance related issue. There's actually some research that says it can affect things like tinnitus and balance. So there's a whole bunch of things that untreated stress can do, none of which are very much fun. So if you have issues with untreated or uncontrollable stress, I encourage you to reach out to myself or another coach or a minister or counselor, somebody to help you get that under control, because it will eventually, what goes on in your emotional core will eventually come out in your body, even if it takes weeks or months or longer. But it will come out in your body, and usually when it comes out, it's no fun to deal with. So worth taking a look at there. If you'd like to get in contact, you can do so at PO Perception on Twitter, and or drop a message here in the YouTube message box, and we'll get back to you within a day or so that way. But until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.